If we talk about the subject of English, if there's one fear people have, that is on vocabulary. Vocabulary is all to do with words. Vocabulary is important not just because it's tested directly, but it's also because it's tested indirectly. For example, in reading comprehension. You will not be able to understand and appreciate the nuance of reading comprehension unless until you understand the words that are there in that passage. Quite often, the words are tested again in questions that follow reading comprehension. Therefore, should you actually work hard to improve your vocabulary? Answer is yes. And the beauty is you know of it as well. What is the right way of learning words? Now, if you were to go to your teacher at school and ask, how should I improve my vocabulary? He or she will probably say, start reading more. And yes, they are right. The moment you tend to read more, ladies and gentlemen, you get exposed to newer words. And it's only a matter of time you'll start understanding those words and then start using those words. But if you were to ask me, is that the right strategy? Answer is no. That is the right strategy in the long run. But ladies and gentlemen, right now you are in the exam mode. Time is essential right now. So you cannot actually use that technique, especially so because most of us are not good at reading. So what technique should we use? The technique that is generally used by many is what we call as the word list method. What is that we do? We take words which are listed upon in alphabetical order and start by hearting one by one. Is that a good technique? Probably so, but probably not. The reason I say it's, in my perspective, not a good technique is because you will not be able to cover so many words. Ladies and gentlemen, we are intelligent, yes. We have a great memory, no doubt. But if you were so intelligent and you had so much memory that you could by heart all the words that are present in the word list, ladies and gentlemen, we would have been a James Bond by now. And surely we are not. The point that you need to understand is that technique has to be kept, but that technique cannot be the main technique. Our business, ladies and gentlemen, is to see to it that we learn words, we remember words, we use these words. But yes, first, all these have to go inside us. How? We come out with innovative methods. Ladies and gentlemen, my business, as a part of a tutor role in teaching you vocabulary, is to bring about those innovative methods. In fact, let's look at the word innovative itself. Now, if you were to look at the word innovative, ladies and gentlemen, and then see very carefully, you will notice the fact that there are two words which come out, in and now. What is in? In is in. What is now? Now is new. So if you look at the word innovative, innovative itself is a combination of in and new, which means to bring in the new. So when I said someone has to come out with an innovative idea, ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying an idea that brings in something that's new. Ladies and gentlemen, this method is the first method that I will be using predominantly. This method is a method that was made very famous in a very famous book known as The Word Power Made Easy by Norman Louis. This method, ladies and gentlemen, is a roots method. So by understanding the words, you will be able to understand the meaning of the whole word. Ladies and gentlemen, these words which I talk about are the words in Latin and Greek. In fact, the word Genesis itself comes from a Latin word called gen, which means birth. That is how the word generation comes into picture. For example, what is electrical generation? Electrical generation, ladies and gentlemen, is birth of electricity. What are genital organs? Genital organs are sexual organs which again give birth. Ladies and gentlemen, so when I use the word Genesis, the Genesis basically means birth and origin. So when I do say, for example, Genesis of English comes from Latin and Greek, ladies and gentlemen, I just said the origin of English comes from Latin and Greek. In fact, the word gen finds a place in many other things as well. For example, oxygen, something that's required for life. Similarly, when I use the word pathogen, I am sure you have heard about the word pathogen in biology. What is pathogen? Break the word. The word pathogen comes from the word pathos, which is disease, gen, which is birth. So pathogen, I am sure something your biology teacher would have said, is something that gives birth to diseases or causes diseases. Ladies and gentlemen, if pathos is diseases, let's look forward. What is pathology? I am sure you're aware of the fact that logy is study. So pathology, ladies and gentlemen, has to be study of diseases. And yes, you are right. This is one of the classic methods used by me to teach complex words. But this is not the only method. In the subsequent video, I'll also be exposing you to a couple of other methods. My business, ladies and gentlemen, is to tell you stories. No, not to entertain you guys. My business is to tell you stories because once you remember these stories, ladies and gentlemen, your ability to remember the words will skyrocket. How many words are we talking about? We are talking about 1,000 to 2,000 words, ladies and gentlemen. 1,000 to 2,000 words. Words which we do not use on day-to-day basis. So yes, vocabulary is going to be a challenge. But a challenge which both of us can work around. A challenge that we need to work around. Because at the end of the day, vocabulary will help us score well in the verbal session of all these exams. Something that is essential for us to meet our goal of success in these exams. Ladies and gentlemen, come join us in having fun with words. At the end of the day, when you have fun, you also learn. And when you learn, you succeed. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, in the previous video, when I introduced you to the importance of vocabulary, I did introduce you to one method which I generally prefer using, the roots method. As I said, roots method basically based on one foundation that majority of the words in English do come from Latin and Greek. But the fact of the matter is not all the words can be learned thus. You need to come out with innovative methods of learning other words as well. In this video, I introduce you to one more method that I will be chiefly using, that what I call as the range method. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I am sure you have come across the word range in mathematics. Is it really a mathematical word? Mathematician will say range is basically maximum minus minimum. But no, it's not just a mathematical word. For example, a person who is from geography will probably say that he has heard words like a mountain range. So what is a range? Range is something that starts one and then goes forward. It's from one end to another end. That, ladies and gentlemen, is what a range is. And vocabulary can be learned through this method as well. Now, for you to understand how to learn this, let me give you an example. Generally, for example, if you were to be asked that name your friends who were in the 10th class along with you, what would you do? You will immediately think of one of your friends whom you know well and then start thinking about his friends. That is how you start remembering more names. The same technique can be used for learning words. Here, we start looking at shade of words. Let me give you a simple example which will help you understand how this method can be used to learn a group of words. I start with a simple word. A word I'm sure you're aware of, introvert. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm sure you have heard of this word in a negative way. A person who is an introvert is supposed to be shy. A person who is an introvert is not a person who likes to mix with people. He is not a social person. Now, if you can look at this word carefully, you can split this word into two parts, intro and vert. I can go back to what I said in the previous video. Understand these words using the concept of Latin and Greek. The word intro basically means inside. The meaning of the word vert, ladies and gentlemen, is turn. An introverted person is a person who is turned inside. Now, when I say turned inside, what does it mean? He or she likes being with himself or herself. He or she does not like interacting with others. So, ladies and gentlemen, that person is an introverted person. And yes, you are right. Today, the word introvert is seen in a negative way. The reason is simple. In today's world, people need to know how to socialize. Tomorrow, when you go to a sector in the banking, ladies and gentlemen, you have to interact with your vendors, you have to interact with your clients, you have to interact with your own bosses and your peer group, of course. So, being an introvert is not a big positive, of course. The other end I have, ladies and gentlemen, the other end of the spectrum, I have the word extrovert. Now, again, I can split this word up. The word extrovert comes from the word extro, which is outside, vert is turn. So, extrovert is a person who's turned outside. He or she loves interacting with others. He or she can socialize. So, ladies and gentlemen, extrovert is today a positive word. Quite often, I get a lot of students who come to me and they feel bad. They feel bad saying that, look, they are introverts and they wish to be extroverts. They even cry. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's not really true. In fact, I've never met anyone who is 100% introvert. The point that you need to understand is, as much as we might be introvertish with strangers, we are extrovertish with our friends. So, what are we? We are both. And the Latin word for both is ambi. And ladies and gentlemen, from there comes the word ambiverts. So, if you look at the word in the middle, which is ambivert, ambivert is a person who is turned both outside and inside. He is therefore both an introvert and an extrovert. In this method, what we do is, we therefore don't remember just one word introvert. We immediately go to the end extrovert. We also see something in the middle, which is ambivert. Thus, by remembering one word, we are remembering two additional words. But no, we don't stop there. We start digging a little more deeper. We bring again the concept that we learned earlier of the roots and we see more. For example, the word ambi, which means both, has given us words like ambiguous, has given us words like ambivalent. I am sure you are aware of the fact that an ambiguous answer is an answer which is not very clear. Why? Because the word ambiguous itself can be broken into two parts. Ambi, which is both, gua is to go. So, ambiguous takes both the paths. Ladies and gentlemen, I ask you a question. You have been selected both in Andhra Bank as well as in Vijaya Bank. Which one would you join? And guess what? If you give me an ambiguous answer, you are not being clear. You are sometimes indicating Andhra Bank and some other time indicating the Vijaya Bank. That, ladies and gentlemen, is an ambiguous answer. The word ambivalent again comes from the same thing. Ambi is both. The word val basically means strong. So, you are strongly taking both the stance. Then your answer is an ambivalent one. For example, sometimes I am in love with a girl and I am not very sure whether she is the right girl to marry or not. my feelings towards her are ambivalent. So I'm strongly attracted towards yes as well as no. So an ambivalent feeling is a feeling which is a little confusing feeling because I'm attracted towards both the sides. Ladies and gentlemen, again, all these words are an extension of one root ambi. So the moment you understand this, what happens is now we have been able to start with one word, which is introvert, go to the other word, extrovert, come to the middle, which is what is ambivert, and then build forward from there. For example, we did talk about the word ambiguous, we did talk about the word ambivalent. That way, ladies and gentlemen, we have learned 5 words. The point that you need to understand is, you need to come out with your own technique of remembering as many words as possible. Yes, in my case, majority of the words which I have covered in this platform of condiroonline.com do rely on the root method, because I'm a very strong believer in the fact that roots can help you remember words in a big way. But no, we are not going to stop there. This, ladies and gentlemen, is the second method, the range method. In the next lesson of mine, I'm going to be exposing you to one more method, what I call as the storytelling method. Quite often, if we do know the stories behind these words, ladies and gentlemen, our understanding of these words will skyrocket. Ladies and gentlemen, the range method. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, in the previous set of videos, I've exposed you to 2 different ways of remembering words. The first one I said is the range. The second one I said is the roots. In fact, this is going to be the third method. This method is the story method. Quite often, if you just know the story behind the words, our ability to remember the words will skyrocket. Ladies and gentlemen, let me share with you a story which I am sure you have also watched in a movie, a very famous movie known as Troy. Ladies and gentlemen, this basically movie was made basis on a myth, a mythological story of the Romans and the Greeks. The whole belief that they had was that there's a gentleman known as Zeus, who, ladies and gentlemen, was a god of all the gods. Now, he has a daughter. The daughter commits a sin. So guess what Zeus does? He punishes her by sending to earth as a lady, as a woman. Now, when she has a baby, the baby is known as Achilles. She looks at the father and says, "Father, father, father, I have committed a sin. You are punishing me, but please don't punish my child." Now, the father, who is of course now the grandfather of the child, looks at the grandchild. He's in love. Let's not forget, after all, he's a grandfather. But he tells his daughter, "Sweetheart, I can do nothing about it right now. But I make you a promise. Dip him in the river. Any part of the body that touches the river, he cannot be killed by that." The mother is excited. She takes the child and dips him in the river. Unfortunately, she holds him in the heels and dips him. And therefore, the only part of the body that does not touch the water is the heels. So if you've seen the movie, ladies and gentlemen, in that movie, Paris, the prince of Troy, takes a poisonous arrow, aims at Achilles' heels, and that is how Achilles dies. From there, we have a word, ladies and gentlemen, Achilles' heels. What is Achilles' heels? It is the area of weakness. So if I were to say, as an aspirant for Bank PO, GK is my Achilles' heels, it means area of weakness. Let's not forget, as happened in the movie and as happened in the story, Achilles was killed because of that one weakness he had in his heels. The same story gives a lot of other words. Actually, what happens is this. There are 2 very famous kingdoms. One, ladies and gentlemen, is what is known as a Sparta, the other is Troy. Sparta is basically in Greece and Troy today is in Turkey. Now, Sparta was known for a big thing, that is, they were big fighters. Have you seen the movie 300 BC? People with huge body and who are willing to fight. This, ladies and gentlemen, was a very famous kingdom known for its martial skills. Now, what exactly is martial skills? Ladies and gentlemen, according to the Romans, Mars was a Roman god of war. So when I use the word martial art is the art of war. So when I do say Sparta was a martial kingdom or a kingdom known for martial skills, I'm basically saying known for their war skills or fighting skills. Ladies and gentlemen, when I use the word judo and karate today, when we use the word martial arts, that's because these are the art of war. Now, Spartans were very famous for one thing. They used to exercise every single day. They used to build huge bodies and they would go for fight whenever required. They never used to lead a very rich lifestyle. In fact, they used to be leading a very hardworking, less luxurious lifestyle. From there comes a word Spartan. Ladies and gentlemen, Spartan means less luxurious and hardworking. Now, what happens in the movie is very simple, and that is again coming from the story. In that, you will notice Paris, the prince of Troy, seduces the queen of Sparta and brings her to Troy. I just use the word seduce. The word seduce, if you look at it very carefully, comes from the word sec, which means cut, and deuce means lead. So seduce is to cut and lead away. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not a positive word, it's a negative word, which means you're moving away from the right path to the wrong path. So when I say money seduced me, what am I saying? It also implies that I'm doing something wrong. Remember, the word seduce comes from the word deuce, which means lead. Then what is produce? In my previous video, I did introduce you to the prefix called pro, which I said is forward. So produce is something that leads something forward. So production is something that builds something. Let's not forget that. Again, ladies and gentlemen, fall in love. Start looking at the words the way I see it, for example. Let's go forward. So what does Paris do? He seduces the queen of Sparta and gets her to Troy. The moment that happens, the Spartan army comes to Troy to fight the Troy. Ladies and gentlemen, the Spartan army is led by this gentleman known as Achilles. Remember I told you about Achilles, the grandson of Zeus, the god of all gods. And remember I also told you he cannot be killed because he has been dipped in river, except of course in his heels, which is the area of weakness. Now the moment he comes, he starts fighting with everyone, starts killing everyone. There's only one person who is able to fight Achilles. And I'm sure, again, you would have seen that in movie. This person, ladies and gentlemen, was a gentleman known as Hector, the elder brother of Paris, the firstborn of Troy, the prince of Troy. Ladies and gentlemen, he is the only person who is able to irritate Achilles. Of course, finally Achilles kills him and Hector dies. But yes, he was the only person who was able to irritate Achilles. From there comes the word Hector, irritate. So if I were to say, why are you hectoring him? I'm saying, why are you irritating him? Ladies and gentlemen, most of us generally think that the real hero was Achilles. No, real hero was not Achilles. There was one more gentleman. This gentleman's name was known as Ulysses, otherwise known as Odysseus. You remember Gulliver Travels. In Gulliver Travels, there's this gentleman called Gulliver who goes to various places. One of the places he goes is to Lilliput kingdom. Then later, he does go to a giant kingdom as well. Similarly, this gentleman, Ulysses, otherwise known as Odysseus, goes from place to place. One of the places he goes is Troy, where he sees this fight and he documents that, he writes that. Ladies and gentlemen, from this name Ulysses, otherwise known as Odysseus, comes another important word, Odyssey, adventure, because this gentleman was on adventure. So if you look at adventure, what is adventure? Adventure is therefore traveling from place to place, learning few things. But the word adventure has a very important root word there called venture. The meaning of the word venture is risk. So when you do say, for example, you are going on an adventure, it has to have some element of risk associated with it. I'll stop by giving you one more word, venturesome person. So if I were to call someone as a venturesome person, what can it be? I just told you the meaning of the word venture is risk. So venturesome person is a person who takes a risk. And ladies and gentlemen, therefore the meaning of the word venturesome is someone who is bold. It's a positive word. Look again what we have done. Using a story that we know of, we have added on a lot of words. I started with the word Achilles heels. I said area of weakness. Sparta, I did talk about the fact that leading a less luxurious, hardworking lifestyle. I did talk about the word Hector. Hector means irritate. I did talk about many other words, ladies and gentlemen. For example, I talked about the word seduce, which I said is cut and lead. What did I say is the meaning of the word is S-E, cut. That is why, ladies and gentlemen, the word sector is a cut part. When I say when I was in 10th class, I was in B section, what does it mean? Students have been cut in many parts, I was in the B part. When I say I am staying in MVP colony 5th sector, what does it mean? It means the MVP colony has been cut in many parts. Ladies and gentlemen, I am in the 5th part. So the point that you need to understand again is, quite a few words can be thus brought together, remembered as a story, and this story can help us remember these words much better. Do review this video once more. Understand the story, and more importantly, the words that you are expected to learn from these stories. Ladies and gentlemen, the method of learning through stories. Thank you so much.
Hello all, I am Sumant Palepu, a verbal trainer at Conura. In this video, I am going to deal with the fourth method of learning words. This is what I term as mental marks technique. As a student, for me the greatest fear of learning words has never been knowing or not knowing a word as much as remembering words, the words which I have learnt earlier. My greatest challenge always has been to remember thousands and thousands of words required for competitive exams. In this video, I am going to deal with that technique which will help you to remember those words. The technique, once again, I repeat, is termed as mental marks technique. Why did I term this technique as a mental marks technique? Because it is very similar to the bookmarks which we use while reading books. Now when reading books, If at all we stop at a particular page, in order to come back to the same page, we use a bookmark. This technique will also help us to come back to the same word with understanding and remembering that meaning by using these mental marks. What I'm going to do in this lesson is to expose you to 5 to 6 different words. Check out how do we create mental marks for each of these words. As a result, remember these words. All set? Then let's get started. The first word we're going to deal is a complex word, assiduous. Now this word assiduous means a hardworking person. There are multiple ways to remember this word, but understand if when you're learning this word, one of the assumptions I'm making is you are being exposed to the meaning of the word. This method is going to help you to remember the words, just not to know the meaning, but to remember the words. So if you look at this word assiduous, the word means hardworking. So always as a student, I need to ask myself, next time when I come back to this word, how do I remember this word? So how do I remember this word? Connect hardworking to some mark in this word which will help you to remember that this word means hardworking. Now check out how do I do that. The word assiduous has the word ass in it, A-S-S. If you remember this animal ass, it means a donkey. The minute you remember donkey, what is the first characteristic of a donkey which strikes your mind? Yes, it's a hard-working animal. So, how do I remember this word? I would remember this word by creating a mark called as ass, which immediately tells me the meaning of the word is to do something with hardworking. An assiduous person is a hardworking person. Just understand what I did right now. I've taken this word assiduous. I understood the meaning of this word to be hardworking. And my job is to ensure that next time when I come back to this word, I remember the word, I remember the meaning as hardworking. So what did I do? I went into the word, I checked out a part of that word which reminds me hardworking, a mental mark, a bookmark I created for this word. As a result, I've seen this part as which indicates hardworking. So I connected the meaning and the word. So assiduous means hardworking. Let me take another example, the word allay. This word allay means to calm down, is to reduce somebody's tension or fear. Now once again we got to know the meaning, but next time when you come back to this word allay, how do we remember this word? So I'm creating a small story which will act like a mark around this word. I did remember a television ad where Saif Ali Khan and his friends were watching India-Pakistan cricket match. The minute it's an India-Pakistan cricket match, there's a lot of tension involved. So all his friends were tensed and watching the match in a very tense manner. So Saif Ali Khan goes to them, opens a lace packet, gives them and says, lace kha jao, tension bhul jao. So if you can put an extra S after that lace, if you look at that word, it has a lace in it. Remember the word through lace. The minute that you remember the word through lace, this television ad comes to your mind and immediately you will connect that the word is to reduce tension or fear. So allay is to reduce tension or fear. When you're trying to allay a person's worries, you're trying to reduce their tension. Alright, now that we've understood this technique, let's get into a little more tougher words, deeper words. Let us look at another word which is abnegation. This word abnegation is to give up or to cancel. As soon as you look at this word, I'm sure by now you've understood how to identify that cancel or give up meaning in this word. If you would have identified negation, fantastic, you're on the right track. The best way to remember this word is the word in negation built inside this word. Now, what does the word negation mean? If you understand negation in mathematics, it means to cancel. So, the word abnegation is to cancel a word or cancel a promise or to give up on a promise. End of the day, you are cancelling something. So, once again, you're trying to create a mental mark around the word negation to remember this word abnegation. Brilliant. Then let me summarize this entire discussion by giving you 3 words, 3 complex and important words for you to understand how do we go about this method. And the 3 words I'm going to discuss right now are the word enervate, the word emasculate, and the word emancipate. They look confusing, they look complex, but at the end of the day, we're going to use a similar method to learn all these 3 words. Let me start off with the word enervate. Once again, one of the methods we would have been discussing earlier as well is to break and learn the word. So the first step I'm going to do is to break this word enervate into 2 parts. The part which I know, the part where I'm creating a mental mark. The part of the word which I know is the prefix E, which means out. The part where I'm creating a mental mark is the part nervate, which has the word nerve in it. The word nerve means energy. If you look at human nervous system, energy is pumped inside our nervous system. So the word nerve could be associated with energy. Now E is out. So what am I taking out? I'm taking out energy. If I take out energy, what will happen to you? You will become weak. So the word enervate is to weaken someone. Now how did I remember this word? Once again, by associating a mark around the word nerve, which talks about energy. So I'm telling that I have taken energy out, as a result made somebody weak. So the word enervate is to weaken someone. Similarly, look at the next word, emasculate. Once again, break the word into two parts, E and muscular. The second part sounds like muscular. Once again, the word muscular means strong. E is out. So what am I taking out? I'm taking out the strength. If I take out strength, what happens to a person? They become weak. So the word emasculate also is to weaken someone. Again, I've created a mental mark around the word musculate, which I remember it as muscle or muscular. The third word is emancipate. Now, one of the common phrases we keep hearing is women empowerment, women emancipation. The word empowerment is an easier word to remember because it has the word power in it. So you are giving power to women, making her powerful. That is what is the word women empowerment meant. Now if you look at this word emancipation, once again I try to create a mental mark. How do I do that? Look at this word carefully. The word E again means out. The word emancipate has a man in it. So what am I taking out? I am taking out man from women. If I take man from women, what is the first feeling a woman gets? More on a funny term. I'm sure the women watching this video would immediately jump and say the first thing we would get is freedom. Yes, the word emancipate means freedom. This word is not only used with man or woman moving away from each other. I can emancipate a prisoner on August 15th as well. But end of the day, how do I remember this word? I remember this word by creating an interesting story, an interesting mark around that word man, connecting it with women and freedom. So what have we done with this word now? We have taken this word emancipate and we have understood a commonly used phrase, women emancipation. Try to create a mark by connecting man and women and the fact that you're taking out a man from woman or a woman from man, as a result providing freedom. Yes, this is purely on a funnier term of learning this word, but end of the day, a very effective way of learning this word. So friends, what did we do so far? We have picked up a word, learned the meaning of the word, and then we have created a tag, what I call as a mental mark around that word to remember the meaning of that word. So in short, we have connected the meaning of the word to some kind of a point or a tag or a mark inside that word, which will help us remember that word next time when we come back. Always ask yourself a simple question. Next time when I come back to this word, how do I remember this word? That should always propel you to learn that word and remember that word. And try creating some kind of a mark. The funnier the mark, of course, the easier you're going to remember that word. So keep creating those marks. And in sense, I'm sure you're going to learn a lot of words in this way. As a result, you're just not going to learn. Learning is going to be fun as well. Because at the end of the day, you're only becoming creative in learning words. And creativity always is fun. Thanks a lot.